Hi all, today we are going to see about the topic projections, which comes under 3D viewing visible surface reduction unit. So this is one of the major concentrated topic in the computer graphics. So this plays a major role in depicting the graphics. So hi all, in previous video we saw about parallel projections. So now we are going to see about oblique projection. Oblique projection is also a type of parallel projection. So in the oblique parallel projection, the direction of projection is not normal to the projection of plane, which means your projectors, that is imaginary line, is not normal, that is not parallel to the projection plane. So when this type of projection appears, this comes under the category oblique projection. It is a simple technique that is used to construct 2D dimensional images of 3D dimensional object. So this oblique projection is mostly used in technical drawings like CAD, engineering drawings, architectures, when we want to design a building for construction. So we use oblique projections there. So the oblique projection is divided into two parts. One is Cavalier and the other one is cabinet. How we call it as Cavalier and how we can differentiate cabinet is when the angle between the projection and projection plane is exactly 45 degrees. Okay, so when the angle between projectors, that is imaginary line, and the projection plane is exactly 45 degrees. If you consider this, you can see here, when the angle between projection and projection plane is exactly 45 degrees, then it comes under Cavalier projection. So the next one, cabinet. So when my angle between projection and projection plane is 63.4 degrees exactly, so then that type of projection comes under cabinet projection. So it is mentioned here, when it is 45 degree, it falls under Cavalier projection. When it is 63.4 degree, it comes under cabinet projection. So the advantage of these are, it is good for exact measurement when we want an exact measurement. So then this type of oblique projection can be used. So the parallel remain parallel. So it will not be perpendicular. So the parallel lines are going to remain parallel. So we are going to get an exactic image. So that what is the disadvantage is, it look realistic looking, so less realistic looking. So object will look as it is, but the realism will be missing somewhere. So the angles are not preserved. So the we are considering the angle as 45 degree in one type of projection and 63.4 degree in another type of projection. Here the angles are not preserved. Okay, so perspective projection. In the perspective projection, the distance of the projection plane from the center of the projection is finite, whereas in parallel projection it is infinite. In perspective projection, the distance of projection plane from the center of projection is finite, which means measurable. So the object size keeps changing in reverse order with distance. So when the distance is nearer, the object size is bigger. When the distance is larger, the object size is smaller. So that in that way the object size keeps changing in reverse order with the distance. So in perspective projection, it is used to determine the projector lines come from together at a single point, which means all the projection lines is going to converge at a point, at a single point. So then this type of projection is called perspective projection. So this single point, the converging point, is called project reference point or center of projection. So when we consider this diagram, we can see that, so this is the exact line or real-time image of consider this as an object. We consider a straight line. So this line will be projected into the screen with not parallel lines. So these lines are going to converge at a point. So that point is called center of projection. So we'll have an image in the flat surface, but not same as the size of the object in the real world. So real world enna size la and object irko adu appadiye screen la we cannot project, but similar அதை எப்படியே depict பண்ணி we can get into the screen. So this type of projection is called perspective projection. But in parallel projection, so realistic la and the object eppadi irukko enna size la irukko same size we are going to depict in the flat screen display, so that is called parallel projection. So perspective projection, we cannot expect the size of the object. So already I stated the object size keeps changing in reverse order with the distance. So these are the characteristics of perspective projection. So distance between the object and projection is a projection center is finite, so which is measurable. So in perspective projection, it is difficult to define the actual size and shape of the object, since the object size differs based upon the distance between the object and the projection plane. So here in the perspective projection, it has the concept of vanishing point, so which will be appearing in the screen and which part of the object will be disappearing from the screen. So this concept is called vanishing point. So it has the concept of vanishing point in the perspective projection. So the perspective projection is realistic but tough to implement. So when compared with parallel projection, so the perspective projection is realistic but it is tough to implement. So because we have to consider a converging point somewhere. So vanishing point, what does vanishing point is? Vanishing point can be defined as point in an image plane where all parallel lines are interlinked. The vanishing point is also called directing point. So these are used in 3D games and graphics editing. It is used to represent 3D objects. So we can also include perspective in the background of an image. We can also insert the shadow effect in an image. So based on this vanishing point, we have 3 categories of perspective projection. So one is 1 point, 2 point and 3 point vanishing points. Based on that, we have categorized the perspective projection. So 1 point, when we have only one single principal vanishing point, then it comes under 1 point category. So use of 1 point is the 1 point projection plane is mostly used to draw images of roads, railway tracks and buildings. So when we consider lengthy objects like roads, railway tracks, buildings, this 1 point principal vanishing point comes under the play. So this type of object, realistic objects, comes under 1 point category. So in 2 point category, it is also called as angular perspective. Here we have 2 principal vanishing points, so that's why it comes under 2 point category. The main usage of this 2 point perspective projection is to project 2 corner roads. When the 2 corner roads are intersecting, or where the 2 corner roads where the 2 roads are getting diverged, so these type of applications are depicted using this 2 point vanishing point categories. So next one is 3 point. It is mainly used in skyscraping. So when we have 3 principal vanishing points, then those type of projection comes under 3 point category. So it is very difficult to draw because it is when we consider an object making into a reality, when we consider a realistic object, when we are considering that object into the screen, when 3 point vanishing structure comes into the play, it is very difficult to draw because we have to consider 3 converging points. So when we see an object from above, then the third point is below the ground. If we see an object from the below, then the third point is in the space above. So because of these 3 vanishing points in different direction and different locations, it is difficult to draw these 3 point projection. So these are about the types of projection in computer graphics. So thank you all.